Hey everybody, Tom here, and today is a little bit different of a video from my usual. Uh, if you've watched my viticulture things before, maybe you follow me on Twitter or something, you will see that I've been kind of doing just on my own. I've been working on some storage solutions for different games, and just to make setup and takedown just a little bit more pleasant. And Viticulture is one of those games that, if you watched my video, you may have seen a thing. So anyway, let me show you kind of what we're doing here and how I have decided to store my Viticulture Essential Edition. Let me go ahead and take out the rule books. Now you're going to see that I have the main board first. There's a reason for that. When you put the main board down on top, it's going to give you an opportunity to kind of push like that and lift the board out of place. Next thing is I have my player boards, and that creates that space for you to push the main board down. Now, what we're going to be doing in this video is I want to teach you how I made these small boxes here. There is this insert for the Essential Edition that has these spaces here, and you're supposed to put your player pieces in just like that, and that's a great way to store it. The problem is getting these pieces out is my worst nightmare. I hate it. So I hate clawing into inserts to get stuff out. So I've designed these boxes to hold the player pieces. If you saw my setup video before, you'll see I've changed the color, but I made these hopefully as easy as possible to just take these out of the box, hand them to a player, they can dump the pieces out, and that's what we're going to be making today. I have one more to make, it's the blue one, so let's go ahead and get our materials set up. Now, for this project, you are going to need a couple of things. Well, you definitely need scissors and you need tape. A paper cutter is nice just at the very beginning, and you're going to want to print out a paper you're going to want to print out this template. Now I have a link for this template in the description of this video below. So if you go ahead and click on that link, it should take you to the BoardGameGeek.com website. If you already have an account, awesome, you'll be able to download no problem. If you don't have an account, you'll need to sign up for one, but it's totally free. I'm just kind of guessing that if you're watching this video, you know enough about board games to already have an account on that website. Anyway, go ahead and print off this template, and I printed this on cardstock. Now, I should have saved the packaging, but there is a package of paper that I found at Walmart. I imagine any store has it. I think this one was called like Astro Color or something like that. But it basically had all of the colors that we need for this project, not counting the white cardstock, which I just already had. So go ahead and print off that template on cardstock. And then what we're going to do is I like to cut the big square out using the paper cutter because it makes it really fast and easy. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut out the shaded parts. So we're just going to be left with the shape inside of here. I do all of my designs just in Microsoft Word, and so you're going to notice some small imperfections in the way that things line up. That's kind of one of the consequences, but they'll basically be invisible later on. So what I'm going to do is, there's a tripod sitting right here, and it makes cutting with the big cutter on camera super duper awkward. Also, I don't think you need to watch me cut this outline out. So I'm going to be right back. I'm just going to run and cut those things out, and I will see you soon. And we are back. I have gone ahead and just cut out the main outline of the shape, and we have just a couple of more cuts I'm going to make. Usually with my designs I try to put dotted lines inside the shape where we need to make some cuts. So there are 4 dotted lines here. I'm just going to take a normal pair of scissors, and we're just going to go ahead and cut on those lines. Don't stress, this does not need to be perfect. I have ways to hide the imperfections as we go. So now we're just making these simple cuts like this. And let's see here. There we go. Okay, so just go ahead and make the cuts. I always like to cut my designs when they're on cardstock before I do any folds, because having the cuts actually helps the folds a lot. And I think it's easier to be precise in your cutting, more so if you do it before you fold. Anyway, so we went ahead and made those 4 cuts like that. And I'm actually going to make some more cuts that I don't have showing on the template because, again, I designed these in Microsoft Word. It's a little bit tricky to add these parts. But basically, do you see, I call these the wings, okay? So this part right here, this long T, T, sure. So at the top of these, what I want to do is I want to cut a small diagonal. That's going to make a thing coming up later a little bit easier. So here's my cut like that. You see that? I'm basically here. I'm going to show you what this is. I'm going to just cut pretty much like that. I just want a slight angle, and I want to go to the top corner like that. Okay, so I'm just cutting out these small triangles, just a slight angle. Does not need to be perfect in any way, shape, or form. There's no specific degrees. I just need some leeway there. And you'll see why in just a second. So now I'm turning it over and making a similar cut. If you want to wait for a second, I'll hold up the final product so you can kind of see about what that should look like, so you're making sure you're making the right cut. It is entirely possible that you're going to make one of these. I actually always do a practice run on regular paper just to make sure that I know what I'm doing before I do anything drastic, but you can kind of see, you see those angles right there. Alright, so now we've got all of that done. We need to make some folds. Now, if you've ever watched any of my other designs, and speaking of my other designs, I have lots of other games I've designed things for. I will put a link to my website in the description of this video. If you go there, you can explore different kinds of games that I have different types of boxes for, if you're interested in that. Anyway, in most of my other designs, I usually will turn it upside down and fold this way. But with this design, I actually like to keep it printed side up. First of all, because the folds are super straightforward, and second of all, that will keep all of the lines on the inside of the design so that the outside of the box is a lot cleaner looking, doesn't have those printed lines or anything on there. So all we're going to do is, every one of these solid lines needs a fold. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with the wings. I just pull it. Again, the cuts are really my main guide there, even more so than the actual printed stuff. But I'm just going to go ahead and make each of these folds. Oh, sometimes I have to like pull the paper a little bit with my one thumb and then crease it with the other thumb. If you have your scissors handy, you can use the handle of your scissors to make that look better. And we'll go ahead and fold this way as well. And then we got this one here like this. Now, especially with these semicircles, you want those creases to be as good as possible. Because they're going to be the lid, and you want them to just naturally fall down. Alright, so that was one side. Next side doesn't have the wings, so we're just pulling it forward, giving it a crease. Then we'll crease on the semicircle as well, like that. Next up, we'll get these wings. And remember, we cut the top part of these wings at an angle, but the bottom part you can use to line up with the printed stuff, no problem there. So go ahead and crease that. Fold the whole wing thing over. I gotta find better names for these things. And the semicircle, again, that's really important to get a good crease on that one. And then finally, we'll go ahead and do this. Oh, no, I went too far. Okay. So a little something something like that. So I always like to get all of the creases in place before I do any taping. Now, speaking of tape, I have enough of these projects going on. I actually have two different kinds of tape, and I wanted to talk about those. So when you go to the store to buy tape, if you buy, as far as I can tell, if you buy invisible tape, it's going to look like this. It kind of has a matte finish. It's kind of not as see-through. And then if you buy transparent tape, it's going to be more glossy, but super see-through. Any kind of tape will work for sure, but I have just found anytime I'm using colored paper or printed stuff, I will go towards the transparent tape that's more see-through. If I were taping on white paper, I would definitely go for the invisible tape. So I just always have both on hand, but also I'm crazy. So where this is colored paper, I'm going to stick with the transparent tape. And here's what we're going to do. We're basically going to fold the wings up like this. Okay, so we already have the creases. This should be nice and easy. I'm going to fold the wings together. And I'm kind of just looking to make sure they're touching on the bottom, and you can see we have our angles are kind of creating this triangle-like shape. And then I'm going to bring this side forward, And pretty much, this is really hard to describe. I just am looking with my middle fingers to make sure that the corner is nice and flush. Okay, so bringing up the wings, bring up this side right here, and then I'm going to fold the semi-corner or the semicircle backwards. Using my middle fingers just to make sure that it's nice and lined up. This does not have to be perfect at all, but I'm just going to pinch those things together with my finger like that. Grab a little bit of tape about that size, and you can just stick it right there. Now if you got your angles really good, I got mine okay. Not the best. But if you got your angles pretty good, that tape is going to hit all of the pieces of paper that it needs to. Wrap it down and around like that. And we just taped that part together. Now I like to fold the wing all the way in because again, when we put it in the box, we want all the wings to fold downwards nicely. So something like that. Okay, now we're going to do the exact same thing on this side, only it's going to be just a tiny bit trickier now that we've got this fold done over here. So, fold the wings in, bring this part up, use your middle fingers to make sure that the corners feel the way you want them to feel, and then fold the semicircle backwards, grab like 3/4 of an inch of tape, it's very precise, and we're just going to lay that tape on there so that it's covering both of the wings. Have I got my corners good? I think so. And then just fold that tape back like that. Doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to work. Okay, in fact I could have done that a little bit better, but I think it'll be fine. And then just fold that semicircle all the way down just to make sure that it naturally is creasing inwards. And there you have it. That is our Viticulture little player box. So what I'm going to do is have one final moment of clawing these pieces out and hating myself because I don't know, I just hate it. I hate it so much. In fact, I'm glad I'm reinforcing my hatred for it right this second. I'm going to go ahead and get those pieces out into this box, and I've worked really hard to make sure that the dimensions of the template work so that you can just super easily fold those in, put them in like that. And it's good to go. And for the first couple of times, the lids are going to pop up just slightly, but that's okay because our first things that we're laying down are going to be this. Now, just in case you didn't watch my sit-up video and you're curious about storage, I could make boxes for these, I just haven't yet, but I like to keep the coins in baggies. I like to keep these in this bag, this in this bag. But primarily, what I've done over here to help get the cards out easier is I just took a strip of cardstock and I taped one side over here, and then I just, essentially cut it to size. So that way, when I put the cards into here, you can just lift it out and it's less claw-like. So just an idea in case you didn't watch my how to set up Viticulture video. And shame on you for not doing that. Anyway, take the player boards, put them down first. Take the main board, put it down after that, and then the instruction books. And again, you can just push, all of that stuff comes out. Put the lid on, and boom. Viticulture, we got it. So again, if you are interested in this design and you want to see other designs, that's cool. Share it with your friends. That would make me pretty happy. And not only that, check out the website that I've created for these types of projects. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys later. Goodbye.